Oh, that was a hard landing. Whoa! It's my city! There's been progress on it. Does that mean this is another video on my Minecraft city? Yes, it does. I'm actually going to be a little bit more experimental this video and try and guide you through it a little bit more of what I'm doing and how I'm planning on doing it. Hope you enjoy the video. Please like and subscribe if you want to. And welcome back to this rather small Minecraft city, but it won't be for long because I'm adding a little cycle path. As I'm sure you're saying, that makes the city a lot larger. It doesn't. I don't know why I'm saying this. I've not planned this in advance, so if I say anything that sounds a bit stupid, assume it's because I have not planned this script at all. Here I'm trying to build a tram line, and then I decided it doesn't work because I'm struggling too much with stairs. I decided I can't be bothered to do this with every single corner for the rest of the city. I looked around a little bit and just went, maybe not. I randomly started building some, terraced suburban houses, rather tall, random colours, look quite nice. Nice background glass windows, very long houses. They don't really fit in with the natural surroundings, but it doesn't matter too much because they look good. Tried adding a chimney, found out it didn't work the way I wanted, and just used plant pots. Not plant pots, clay things, you know what I mean? The things I added last update that I can't remember the name of. Yeah, those things. Adding nice little decorative paths and nice little front gardens to these houses because they need a little bit of greenery, and they need a lot more greenery apparently. And some gutters, why not? Oh, never mind, I got rid of the decorated pots and just added plant pots now, so I was actually right before. Here we break out a big section of the wall, which I'm sure they won't mind absolutely whatsoever.
Daddy gonna drill a hole in the wall.
Daddy's not drilling any holes in any wall.
And decided to add some graffiti. Because it's a city and apparently that makes it feel more alive. And as we get this lovely little cinematic shot of the houses, I just want to make this very clear right now, that when this project is complete, I will actually be going through the entire thing with the Vanilla Tweaks Armor Stand data pack and populating the entire city, which won't be fun. So if you want to see that, or see my suffering and all that, please stick around, maybe watch future videos, maybe even the future episodes of this series. For this building here, which won't actually stay here for very long, I added a very nice little wave pattern on the roof. Don't really know exactly what I was going for, but it looks pretty decent overall. And it's very interesting to look at, adds a nice interesting shape to the building, and then I decided to make it the most boring building in existence by adding basic windows. Trying not to be too critical here, but it's quite difficult sometimes. Hopefully you disagree though. And here I make a very interesting decision to build a runway over the city, which, as you can see, I then decide didn't work, because I then grab the entire thing and move it all the way over here, which I'm sure is legal because it's all okay if a plane goes off the end of the runway here. It'll be a nice, gentle water landing and not at all death for a lot of people. Lots of support pillars because it's a floating bridge runway, it kind of needs them. And I found out I can't do maths, so I fixed it. We continue to expand on this totally legal airport by adding some nice little taxiways that go all the way nowhere, just in case you land in even a shorter distance than you're expected to normally. changed it to cyan terracotta, and this is actually the first attempt of an airport. It will be removed later on. Just a warning, it's awful. Yeah, I really don't know what I was thinking with this building, and it's quite clear why I decided not to keep it later on, which you will see, and it does become a lot better, so I hope you're looking forward to that. You're probably not. Well, hopefully you're still here by this point, so it doesn't really matter. Just building like a little, I don't even know what it is, corner fast food shop like a McDonald's. Probably not, because that would be, I can't bother to make an M and that would be branding, which I don't want to include. And then a WH Smith inspired thing, and a little terrace which is very nice and has safety railings which I'm sure no one could climb over at all. Some nice stairs up, which is not very accessible, and the high intense security, which is very good quality and isn't at all about to get... What's going on here? I'm getting millions and millions of little essential announcements. Interesting. Anyway, there's the finished airport interior. Won't last very long, but it looks quite nice. It's the best thing about the building. Then I messed around with triangles and colours for a while and build an even stupider looking barrier that also won't stay for very long. A nice small car park for the airport, because let's be honest, we're not having much flight with this city. It's not the most exciting at the moment, but that will change. It will become exciting. And this is where I attempt to build a plane and promptly find out I can't. I can build cars sometimes they look good, sometimes they don't. Not planes. Even though I know a lot about them, I just can't build them. It's just a layout here for future buildings to come, adding a nice little junction, and then moving very swiftly on to adding some actual buildings again. So this is a nice little Italian style pizzeria we've got here, nice little canopy, little corner there, and suiting a similar build palette here of the quartz diorite and polished diorite with indented windows. Make that a few stories taller, and there we go, reach the roof. Quite small compared to the very nice building next to it. Not too far over as well, actually, inside it. Anyway, I hope I change that, probably don't. What I tend to do is I tend to like to mark out the general shape of the buildings first, and make the front faces of them, without actually building the interior, the roof backs to them all the time. It just means that I get a better idea of how the high street will look and then what I need to change. I'm adding my second police station because this one will actually do its job. The other one was awful. And I really forgot, I actually need air traffic control for this illegal airport, because it has broken enough laws yet today apparently. This is a decent air traffic control tower. It's kind of an awkward shape to do, but I think I did it quite well, which is rare. I just had nowhere to put it, so it's there temporarily. Nice little grass patterns all the way along the front there, and added some tennis courts in, and a nice fence to stop people running into the road or hitting cars, which most people would agree would be unideal. You can see the little sign on the edge of the police station. That is actually going to become, assuming I remember to do it, a underground railway, which will be connecting the city together Whether it will work and I include minecarts, don't know because I've not built it, that'll be coming in a future episode. So it doesn't exist yet. I'll tell you in a couple years, probably. No, months, maybe. I don't know. Someday. And we're marking out more buildings. These will probably be luxury hotels right next to the airport that will not cause any sort of problems whatsoever with noise. We get a brief little view of the floor plan here and the fact that I don't always use all the space because it's awkward, especially that shaped buildings. It's just too square, don't get any windows. So yes, this one is either a hotel or flats. I think this one's actually meant to be flats. There's a lift going up all the way through there, just to make it more accessible. There are also stairs or a ladder, can't remember which. There's some way of getting up in this case of a fire, just to meet some sort of legal criteria. Very nice kitchen, and then suddenly the building gets a lot taller, like that. And we move on to the next one. This, I tried to experiment with some sort of interesting window pattern and then scrapped it and added some nice colours. This one was quite an experimental building which you might think turned out awfully. I personally do actually quite like it. It's an office building, like a lot of these are, but people need somewhere to work. Very boring cells that you've got there. Cubicles is the right word, but I think cells matches them better because I would not want to work in that. Nice little aquarium to make it interesting. See the fish swimming around in there. They're not looking very relaxed in this 8 times speed. Moving on to the finer building on this little storefront, shopfront, whatever I was planning on saying. It's actually very similar to a building we did earlier on in the last episode on the other block. And once again, it's actually a technology centre of some kind. Selling televisions, laptops, phones, tablets, anything pretty much. And that continues all the way up, slight changes on each floor I hope. And this is where I decided, oh yeah, that's where I can put the air traffic control tower. So I tried to work it in a little bit more than that in the end, but it does end up working quite well overall. See, this is actually a very weird attempt at building I have here. I saw a big empty area and decided, you know what works well very here. Or it works very here? Works very well here. One of those new bulk built housing estates in the middle of a city. As you can now see, I'm marking out all the different building shapes and styles here. Those will all then get built up. I didn't actually do anything with the orange ones in the end. Marking out some gardens. That slowed down, looks like I forgot to speed this one up. Oh well, hopefully it's not too long. There we go, I finally picked up life again and I'm copy and pasting all the houses everywhere. Because who cares if they're all the same. Then I scrapped the airport design, which I hated from the start anyway. And this is where it actually gets interesting to look at, this illegal airport. Start laying out some parking spaces for aircraft coming in. Not that they have to be very big, because they're not very big, and the wings will collide. But anyway, who cares? It's all fictional. It's in Minecraft. It's not very scientific. Got some nice little outcrop windows there. And then on we go to this very traditional style, but also quite modern building here. It actually looks quite good, and I don't want to compliment my own building that much, but I'm quite proud of the style I've gone for here. And I like the yellow because I like yellow, and it adds a lot more interest to the build and makes it look less boring. And I'm very good at naming things as well, as you could tell by the fact I've named the airport on an island, Island Airport. I'm so creative. And I did a big American flag, even though I'm not American. I don't know why, it just looks cool to have a big American flag on top of buildings. Because it is quite an impressive flag. And this was actually inspired from when I went to the US, so that would be probably why. Like this entire project, not just this episode. Here we go, I finally realised my mistakes and scrapped the entire housing estate, levelling all the roads and promptly leaving it again. You can see I worked on the beach. I don't actually not happen to the recording. That's interesting. Not there. Oh well, there was a lot of work on the beach. I built a little beach hut. It's actually a much nicer beach now, as I'm sure you can see. Much more pleasant. I would much rather go there than I would before. And now I can have a little car park for all the lifeguards there, just so they don't have to walk in. And some double yellow lines to stop people parking in stupid places. And guess what? Another cycle path. I also added some buoys to show where ships can go out in the harbour, and moved the boat further out and added a lot more detail onto the beach itself. Then extended the road out, continued the cycle paths along, added a tennis court using redstone, which is actually quite an interesting idea. I've done that one recently. And added a little surf school, which I thought was just a very nice little creative touch, using those surfboards as well. Back over to the airport, we can see I'm adding a new barrier because I didn't do that before, texturing it, adding a nice little fountain, which I'm sure will look absolutely beautiful in approximately half a minute. There we go. Oh, I had a little leakage with the water there, that went well, not embarrassing on camera. And I added some plants. Not much space to walk, but there's many residents here anyway. Added a bus parking zone over there to make it easier to transit around the city without having a car. And then I added arrivals and departure signs to make it especially clear, and just for those who can't read, I even added coloured signs. Here we go on to something that has been quite overdue in this city. What you might notice if you've watched the previous videos, they can't get food. They can't eat. This is changing now, as this is very heavily inspired by a British supermarket. I don't know if you'll be able to tell what chain in a minute. Nice dome roofs and very nice airy windows. You might be able to tell here, if you are British, what supermarket this is inspired by. I didn't want to put the actual name, most because I'm lazy. I don't actually know why I didn't, it was a couple months ago, can't remember. Probably wasn't made enough, might well have been. Added some bollards, which I really like the design of, using skeleton skulls, which unfortunately means they unrender, but when you're close up they look cool. Added some line of shopping trolleys, those big signs, and it's just a little show what's inside like. My speech is not very good today. Here's a big temporary building on top that probably doesn't stay very long. No, this one actually, never mind, no it doesn't. Then I finished it. I'm pretty sure I had the recording for that one too. Oh no, that one was corrupt. Never mind. Yeah, that recording corrupted, but you can also see those buildings behind the supermarket as well, also just appeared because my recording corrupted, as I've said about 3 times. Did you know my recording corrupted? Anyway, we're extending the tram lines across, and I can't see. Oh yeah, building the inside of that useless building, which is a swimming pool. We've got 2 different types of swimming pool, one for babies because it's shallow, and one for big people, swimming lanes, with little floaties, and including a nice little flamingo. I wanted swan. Swan's not white, pink, and white. Anyway, done with that. Moving on to a very interesting shaped building here. I went for quite an interesting colour palette. This one is when you're starting to look at real cities for inspiration because you don't know what to build anymore. Sometimes you just kind of do it, and you just can't. So this is one of those situations where I did have to look at inspiration. Added some nice solar panels on top because renewable energy and big ducts. I don't remember what they do, but they're on top of all buildings, so why not? There's a roof garden I don't even think you can access. I can't remember. Anyway, added some signs along the bottom just to add more detail. which you can't see because I'm too high up, my camera angles are awful. And overall, I think it turned out to be quite a horrible looking, but also quite interesting building. Then I just expand this so I can add a roof, add all the solar panels that I'm sure I needed for a swimming pool, and the generators. This is actually going to be, what is at the moment at least, the tallest building in the city. Before this one, it was the big 4 cylinders one. You'll know what I mean if you've seen it, which is quite hard to miss because it's been in the video quite a lot. But this is actually a little bit taller, not too much, but quite a lot. That doesn't... not too much, but quite a lot. A little bit taller. All you need to know. And then we start panning down towards the airport because I then decided to build another billboard. Very slowly. One day. There we go, I'm here now, building a billboard, maybe having a little look. Copy and pasting the old one, and then building a new one to make it different and more interesting to look at. Don't know what it says, because I can't read straight lines. Pretty simple. This building is actually going to be another hotel because people need somewhere to live. It could also be flats. No, it is flats. It literally says, yeah, I'm spoiling it. It says flats to rent on the sign. So yeah, it's definitely flats. I was starting to remember, this thing was a couple months ago. It takes quite a long time to make these videos if you can't notice by my upload schedule. It's not that I'm being lazy, mostly, partially is, because these take a very long time to build. Started a big sign that, as I just told you, says flats to rent. Or flats for rent. Very sorry, my apologies, I said it wrong. That's a shame. But yeah, as I was saying, these do take a very long time to build, these videos, and edit them and produce them, especially this one because I'm putting more effort into it for a change. So if you do want to support me in any way, liking or subscribing, I don't care. Either way, it will get me more recommendations, which is good for me. So if you don't mind, it'd be very kind of you. Thank you very much. So I also realised this city needs a big dockyard, which I haven't got. I probably realised this after I went to Portsmouth, actually. But a lot of these were inspired by real life events, actually. It's pretty amazing, interesting. It's had its character to it. So here we build a big dockyard crane, which will be lifting up a container in a couple minutes. And it's on rails so they can slide along and pick up all these crates. Not really, because it doesn't make any sense. But who cares? They get picked up somehow through Minecraft fictional logic. And I start building a new building again. They will have somewhere to go soon, don't worry. This is quite a traditional British wartime dockyard design with a little bit of a Georgian element on top. I just finished the outside and didn't bother. Then I add a wall, add the cover in graffiti because that's interesting and makes it look not like just plain stripped oak. Add some logs on the edge of the dockyard to maybe add support, maybe to stop boats colliding with it. Don't really know, but then I take out the sea and lower it because how else are you going to fit boats in here? I did a lot of fixing up, make it all sand and refill it with water. Also, I could have a dry dock, which is then pretty boring and empty actually. I didn't fill it in. Add a little control unit there, and here we go. This is where all these containers are going to be going onto the container ship. It's not an enormous container ship, but it's not an enormous dockyard. So that's not all surprising. It's quite impressive I got in there in the first place. Definitely need a few tugboats to get out. Fill it, drain it with water using dark blue terracotta, and then making the main unit on top of it out of bone blocks and dark blue terracotta once again. Adding the wings for better visibility, and very briefly adding the containers. There we go, all filled in. Adding some anchors on the front so that it's not collapsed, then quickly editing the back because it looked awful. Adding some units on top just for aesthetics. Trying to build a lifeboat, and then making a better one because I'm not that creative first try clearly. And naming it, and filling in all containers. And adding ladders with railings. Always nice. Then, continue my imaginative naming streak, I name this building Logistics Co. because I'm really imaginative, as you can tell. This building, I went with a little bit more logic to it. I built the central structure as lifts going all the way to the top, and you can actually see the workings on top as that little hub. Very nice. I hope you like it. I'm starting now to lay out the final set of buildings for this episode of the city. This one is going to be a very nice, interesting design of a lower bank style, modern bank style layout, with then a big oval on top, filled with glass, very glassy office. Personally, I wouldn't actually want to work in it. When you see the inside, you won't either. It does look like quite a miserable building to work in, so hopefully no one does it really. I'll populate it one day, all the way to the top, not as tall. Not taller than the big red building, so that is by one block officially still the tallest. No, I'm not counting the sign. So, there we go. Maybe I am counting the sign actually, because it's not bigger than the other building that way. Yeah, I've really not written a script, as you can probably tell by the fact I keep contradicting myself. I'm probably talking way too quickly. Here we go, onto another little restaurant, and then combined with a horrible looking office. Because for some reason architects in real life don't know how to create nice looking buildings, which is kind of what I've tried to do by making some buildings beautiful, some buildings look like they've come from the depths of hell. Then I just extended the mountain outwards to make it merge nicer with the dockyard, and moved on to trying to make a beach, and then I realised it looked awful, and yeah, I just decided to do that for the beach. Job done. Moving on down here, I was trying to be very creative here, and if you get the reference, thank you. I very much appreciate that. I also had the pizza sign because it's just too wide otherwise. I really struggled with the interior for this one and what it should look like. So I hope this is okay, but there's a lot of very nice little references in there to what the actual Cavern Club is. If you want to Google that, it's very famous. Maybe do that and you'll understand what I mean. But there is a full setup in there, guitars, drums, basses, there's not a difference between drums and guitars and basses, pianos, all sorts of things, nice microphones, all sorts of stuff you'd expect. And then I put hotel, mobile, probably to reference the Mobile One song, which was a meme when I built this, and then my speech is incredible, wrote the word in, because I'm creative like that and can't name anything. Go back to my very typical interiors, which are the same floor repeated over and over again because I have a lot of buildings to do and I don't like interiors, I like the exteriors. Which doesn't make much sense, I built about 50 different interior tutorials. But who cares, it's quite a nice interior to be fair in this one. Go all the way to the top, lots of nice interiors, and a gutter to collect rainwater that will not be soaking the entire top floor. And here we go, onto the car park, just to make sure we can park for these office buildings. Not really enough car parks in the city and the beach to the car park to. What should I remember? And here we go, onto the final little building here. Outside, I went with a florist, because it looks nice. I haven't got a florist, now it has one, and it's very pretty. I'm very happy with it. Very nice build pattern, all the way to pretty low actually, it's quite a small building. Nice little flower decal on the roof. General roof details that I've got in every single other building, and that is in fact it. Thank you very much for watching this part. I hope you enjoy the little replay at the end and cinematic tour of the city. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe and enjoy the cinematic.